Today we discuss about the Keynesian theory of business cycle. This Heterodox Economics topic. Keynesian theory of business cycle starts from the notion that change in income equilibrates savings to investment ex post. Ex post planned savings investment equilibrate business cycle role theory explain level of economic activity determine the effective demand. Keynes effective demand is very important economist. Level of economic activities determine factor effective demand center point argue economy fluctuations, mainly economy fluctuations long run and short run. Economy fluctuate in the long run fluctuations discuss long run fluctuations wage flexible and price flexible. In unemployment and factor, unemployment is norm consider phenomenon consider unemployment equilibrium concept introduced unemployment equilibrium. Keynes argued that autonomous investment decisions are central for the determination of the level of output. Keynes' opinion, level of output determine the main factor in autonomous investment decisions. Investment is governed by long-term expectations. Investment is governed by the factor long-term expectations. Long-term expectation is future demand. That is investment determine governed factor. Level of output determine autonomous investment decisions. That is long run importance. Business cycle fluctuations long run. Long run wage flexible price flexible. Level of output determine autonomous investment decisions. Investment in a governed factor. Firm investment decision taken on the basis of long-term expectations. Long-term expectation is future demand depend on investment decisions. Point fluctuation of investment. Investment fluctuations Keynes Keynes coined term animal spirit. 1936 Keynes animal spirit term or concept introduced that's fluctuations of investment associated with point. Animal spirit is human being in upper humankind in the power and upper factors, natural factors factors level of output employment influence. Investment fluctuation associated with the animal spirit and concept connected either output fluctuation employment fluctuations cause. Keynes important point multiplier process multiplier multiplier effect. Keynes suggested that it was the cyclical changes in investment. Or cyclical change in investment when he associated with marginal efficiency of capital that determine business cycle fluctuation. Business cycle fluctuations determine important factor marginal efficiency of capital. Investment changes. Investment cyclical change investment ups and downs determine or factor marginal efficiency of capital. Marginal efficiency of capital business cycle fluctuations control. Socialization of investment, by which Keynes meant basically public investment. So investment in the socialization Keynes introduced Keynes explained socialization of investment. Socialization of investment in public investment in the socialization of investment. It was necessary to get the economy out of the crisis. So Keynes' opinion, investment socialized we have to move out of this crisis. Crisis problem crisis overcome we need some public investment. That means socialization of investment. It is important to note that in cycle, the Keynes conception depend on shocks which are associated with the state of long-term expectation and the state of confidence. Keynes' opinion, shock is very important. Long-term expectations or state of confidence attain shock is very important. Economy economic growth or economic development attain important factor shocks. Shocks which are associated with the state of long-term expectations and the state of confidence, meaning that business cycles are essentially exogenous. There is no explanation of the shock and of the reason why advanced capital economies seem to go through persistent fluctuations. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ഇവിടെ ഷോക്സ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നതിനെ കുറിച്ചുള്ള ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് ഒന്നും എക്സ്പ്ലനേഷൻസ് ഒന്നും തന്നിട്ടില്ല. ബട്ട് നമുക്കിവിടെ ഒരു കാര്യം പറയാം, എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് ക്യാപിറ്റലിസ്റ്റ് ഇക്കോണമീസ് ഇതുപോലെയുള്ള പെർസിസ്റ്റന്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഫ്ലക്ച്വേഷനിലൂടെ പോകേണ്ടതായിട്ട് വരുന്നത്. അതാണ് അവിടെ ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ കൊടുത്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. വൈ അഡ്വാൻസ്ഡ് ക്യാപിറ്റലിസ്റ്റ് ഇക്കോണമി സീംസ് ടു ഗോ ത്രൂ persistent fluctuations. What is the reason for that? In that sense, mainstream economy suggests that demand shocks to either the goods market equilibrium or the monetary market can be seen as reasonably in the scope of what Keynes suggested caused the cycle. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞു കെയ്ൻസിന്റെ ഒപ്പീനിയനിൽ ബിസിനസ് സൈക്ലിക്കൽ ഫ്ലക്ച്വേഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റിനെ ഡിപ്പെൻഡ്, ഓട്ടോണമസ് ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് ഡിസിഷനെ ഡിപ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നു. There is no tendency to full employment as a result of income distribution and debt deflation effect. There is no ടെൻഡൻസി ടു ഫുൾ എംപ്ലോയ്മെന്റ്. ഫുൾ എംപ്ലോയ്മെന്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നതിന്റെ ചാൻസ് കുറവാണ്. നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞു അൺഎംപ്ലോയ്മെന്റ് ഇക്വിലിബ്രിയത്തിലാണ് അദ്ദേഹം സ്റ്റിക്ക് ഓൺ ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. മൾട്ടിപ്ലയർ ആക്സിലറേറ്റഡ് ഇന്ററാക്ഷൻ കലേക്കി ഹു അഡ്വാൻസ്ഡ് പ്രിൻസിപ്പിൾ ഓഫ് ഇഫക്റ്റീവ് ഡിമാൻഡ്. അതായത് നമ്മൾ ആദ്യം പറഞ്ഞു കെയ്ൻസിന്റെ ഒരു ഫോക്കസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് പ്രിൻസിപ്പിൾ ഓഫ് ഇഫക്റ്റീവ് ഡിമാൻഡ് ആണ്. അപ്പൊ അതിന്റെ ഒരു അഡ്വാൻസ്ഡ് ആയിട്ടാണ് കലയ്ക്ക് അദ്ദേഹത്തിന്റെ മോഡൽ ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. അതില് മൾട്ടിപ്ലയർ ആക്സിലറേറ്റഡ് ഇന്ററാക്ഷൻ, കെയ്ൻസിന്റെ മൾട്ടിപ്ലയർ പ്രോസസ്സിനാണ് ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻസ്. അതേസമയം കലയ്ക്ക് മൾട്ടിപ്ലയർ ആക്സിലറേറ്റഡ് ഇന്ററാക്ഷൻ അഡ്വാൻസ് ചെയ്തത് കലയ്ക്കാണ്. അത് നമ്മുടെ ഇഫക്റ്റീവ് ഡിമാൻഡിന്റെ പ്രിൻസിപ്പിൾ ഓഫ് ഇഫക്റ്റീവ് ഡിമാൻഡിന്റെ കുറച്ചും കൂടി അഡ്വാൻസ്ഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഫോമാണ്. ഹാരോഡ് എ ഡിസൈപ്പിൾ ഓഫ് കെയ്ൻസ്. ഹാരോഡ് കെയ്ൻസിന്റെ ഒരു ഡിസൈപ്പിൾ ആണ്. He developed an early theory of cycle based on interaction of Keynes' multiplier process with the concept of accelerator. അപ്പോൾ അവിടെ മൾട്ടിപ്ലയർ ആക്സിലറേറ്റഡ് ഇന്ററാക്ഷൻ കൺസിഡർ ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്ന മറ്റൊരു ഇക്കോണമിസ്റ്റ് ആണ് ഹാരോഡ്. ഹി ഈസ് ദ ഡിസൈപ്പിൾ ഓഫ് കെയ്ൻസ്. An American institutionalist economist John Maurice Clark developed the idea of accelerator. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ക്ലാർക്കും ആക്സിലറേറ്റർ ഐഡിയ ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. The notion is relatively simple. ഫേംസ്, അപ്പൊ അതിൽ പറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നതായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ബേസിക് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഐഡിയ എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഫേംസ് വിൽ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ബൈ എക്യുപ്മെന്റ് ആൻഡ് ഇൻസ്റ്റലേഷൻ ആൻഡ് ഇൻക്രീസ് സ്റ്റോക്ക് ഓഫ് ക്യാപിറ്റൽ. ഫേംസ് ഫസ്റ്റ് ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ ഫേംസിന്റെ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ടു ബൈ എക്യുപ്മെന്റ്സ്, ഇൻസ്റ്റലേഷൻസ് ആൻഡ് ഇൻക്രീസ് സ്റ്റോക്ക് ഓഫ് ക്യാപിറ്റൽ ടു ദ എക്സ്റ്റെന്റ് ദാറ്റ് ഫ്യൂച്ചർ ഡിമാൻഡ് ഈസ് എക്സ്പെക്ടഡ് ടു ഇൻക്രീസ്. അപ്പൊ ഇത് എല്ലാം ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് ഫേംസ് വിൽ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്, firms will buy equipments, installations and increase the stock of capital, all for the future demand. They expected a future demand. In other words, firms will try to maintain a desired or normal capacity utilization level. Firms try to maintain a desired capacity utilization level or normal capacity utilization level, which means a desired ratio of output to capital. Capacity or supply will adjust to demand. Capacity or supply of the commodities or supply of goods will adjust to demand. Supply creates on demand, and investment will be independent on expectation of future income or derived income. Investment will be considered as an independent factor on the expectation of future income. The interaction of multiplier and accelerator provide a simple explanation of economic cycle that are endogenous and that under certain conditions can be persistent. The interaction of multiplier accelerator provides a simple explanation for economic cycles. Kaleki emphasized the role of time lag between placing of investment, demand for new equipment, and delivery of new equipment, indicating the dual role of investment as a part of demand, but as creating productive capacity in the future. So, Kaleki emphasized the role of time lag. Time lag is the importance. എന്തിലാണ് ടൈം ലാഗിന്റെ ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻസ് അദ്ദേഹം emphasize ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്? placing of investment, then demand for new equipment. It's a placing of investment, how much amount to be invested to start a new firm or to start a new venture. Then is a gap between the demand for new equipment and the delivery of new equipment, indicating the dual role of investment as part of demand but as creating productive capacity in the future. Kaleki emphasized the role of time lag between these things: place of investment, demand for new equipment, and the delivery of new equipment. Kaleki also suggested that investment orders are a positive function of autonomous demand. Investment orders are a positive function of autonomous demand and a negative function of existing capital stock. He suggested two things here. First one is investment orders are a positive function. A positive function of what? Autonomous demand. Investment orders are the negative function of existing capital stock. In other words, if demand is growing, firms will add capacity and invest. If demand is growing, the firms will add capacity and more investment. If capacity is already built and the existing stock of capital is large, they will not. Investment requires the maintenance of particular ratio of the flow of income to stock of capital. Assuming that expectation about future demand are high, then investment will increase through the multiplier effect. It will have a reinforcing effect on income. Assume that expectations about future demand, expectation of future demand are high, is increasing, then the investment will also increase. Through the multiplier effect, it will have a reinforcing effect on income. It's a multiplier effect on income. The increase in income, it will lead according to the accelerator to an increase in investment, leading to an economic boom. It's a condition of economic boom. Increase in income. It will lead to increase in income is due to accelerator effect. Then it will lead to increase in investment. Then the economy reached the condition of prosperity or boom. However, as investment increases, eventually new investment orders will exceed the replacement requirement, and the capital stock will also increase. The decreasing orders will have a negative impact on demand. That is the increasing order, and next one is the decreasing orders. Decreasing orders have a negative impact on demand, and through the multiplier lead to reduction in the level of income, creating the condition of recession. This is the condition of boom. According to the increase in income, it will lead to increase in investment, leading to economic boom. This is the second condition. The decreasing order will have a negative impact on demand. It will lead to reduction in the level of income, creating the condition of recession. Falling income will imply lower investment. Income falls, the investment also falls. Even further collapse of income. In a depression, investment order will collapse, and at some point they will fall below the replacement requirement associated with the depreciation. It leads to reduction in the stock of capital. The essential mechanism of the business cycle in the Keynesian model is connected to lag between demand effect and the capacity effect of investment. The mechanism of business cycle in Keynesian model is connected to the lag between demand effect and capacity effect of investment. Keynesian developed a model later formalized by Hicks and Goodwin, which allowed for economic cycle to recur even in the absence of external shocks. The functioning of the economic cycle without external shock. Central difference in the Kaldorian model was the introduction of non-linear investment and saving function. The idea was not to deny the existence of stochastic shocks or time lag, but to demonstrate that the economic system will also fluctuate in their absence. The economic system will function smoothly without the existence of shocks in the economy. That was the idea developed by Calder and Hicks. The idea was not to deny the existence of stochastic shocks or time lag, but to demonstrate the economic system will fluctuate in their absence. The economic system will fluctuate without the existence of shocks. Calder introduced a non-linear accelerator and multiplier. At low level of income, investment will not change much with the increase in income, since the large amount of spare capacity will prelude additional investment. Calder introduced a non-linear accelerator multiplier. At low level of income, investment will not change much with an increase in income, since a large amount of spare capacity will prelude additional investment. At a high level of income, investment will be insensitive to change in income, since the capital goods sector that produces investment goods, saving function to be non-linear with a high propensity to save, the inverse of the multiplier at low and high level of income, a lower capacity to save at intermediate level of income. The idea that at low level of income, the propensity to save is low. The level of income and propensity to save shows a direct relationship. Income level is low, the propensity to save is also low. Non-linear multiplier follows from different pattern of consumption associated with income distribution.